Hey gang, Derek here. Today let's go ahead and talk some Titanfall 2, shall we? Alright, cue the intro.
Dropping now. Stand by for Titanfall.
With the second technical test now long behind us, and having had some time to sleep on it, I'd say it's time to lay it all out on the table and share my thoughts with you guys. Before we get into that though, and just in case you missed it, I did write up my experiences from the first round of testing, so make sure you go have a look there first if you missed it. Spoiler alert, both tests were a little different from one another. First off, I was pretty surprised at the amount of backlash the first round of testing received. After checking the forums, there was just a ton of negativity on there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was surprised by the changes as well. I mean, I played a ton of Titanfall, so I thought I knew what I was getting into, but a lot of the core mechanics like the Titan shields, the rodeos, the AI enemies not being around anymore, and even the pilot speed was tweaked or outright changed for this second game. The good news here is that Respawn was listening and made a bunch of changes, many of which made it into the second test. So, instead of writing another post about my experiences, I've decided to talk about it. I should also mention that most, not all, of the footage you're watching now is from the first technical test, in case you were curious. So, with the second test, it immediately became clear that Titans received the biggest buff. Thanks to the addition of a passive meter gain every few seconds or so, players didn't have to rely as much on skill as they did before in order to call one down. Before that, it was really almost like a Call of Duty score streak reward, something like that. I found that in the first round of testing, matches would really only have 1 or 2 Titans out at a time, but now I was seeing matches where there would be 4+ on the field at any given moment. Generally speaking, most folks would be able to call down 2 or 3 Titans in a single match. I mean, finally, the Titan part of Titanfall was relevant again. I mean, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, though. To me, it still kind of felt like Titans were a little squishy, especially if your teammates weren't utilizing that new battery mechanic, which felt like it typically happened during my matches. I don't know if it's just something that people didn't care to do, if there wasn't just enough incentive for people to do it, or if ultimately it doesn't work as well as Respawn thought on paper. I'm curious to see if this translates better once the full game is released and people have more time and hands-on experience with the game. Pilot speed was also given a boost, making parkour moves relevant again, and it was noticeable during my playtime. Honestly though, I'm not sure the Homestead map was the greatest map to include, as it was fairly wide open, didn't present a ton of opportunities for chaining together free running moves, like sliding, wall running, things like that. Also, one weird thing to note is that I never saw that new map for the second weekend of testing, the Kodiak base or whatever, so yeah, I'm not sure, I can't speak to that. Maybe that one was better, I don't know. In terms of gunplay, honestly, it kind of felt the same to me, and maybe it's because my brain was just so used to the new mechanics of Titanfall 2 by that point. With that said, the battery business with the Titan rodeos, it wasn't all that bad. It's different, sure, but I mean, at least I understood it better at that point. After what took place after the first weekend, I was kind of curious to see what other players thought, having had all these changes made to the game, to see if people were in favor of that or if there was still a lot of negativity. And while there's, of course, the negativity still there, it seems like the second weekend was able to convert a lot more people. I saw a lot more positivity on the forums, and even some people who dismissed the game entirely after the first weekend, it seems like they were kind of jumping back on board. So I mean, that's good, right? Overall though, I liked what I played much better than the first weekend. The changes made were positive, and yeah, there's still a lot we don't know about the game, but I think it's shaping up nicely. While I do wish some of the elements of the first game are coming back, like burn cards and even attrition, it's just not happening. I figured the team would want to stick to what works and build upon it, but it's clear they wanted to evolve the franchise in new ways. Yes, there will be growing pains, but with the speed of their response and changes, I think good things are in store. But I want to know, what did you guys think of the second weekend? Are you back on board, or have all the changes kind of turned you off for good? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.